הקטגוריה השנייה שנציג היום היא תרומה בתחום היזמות העסקית והטכנולוגיה. ג'ון מדווד עלה מארצות הברית ב-1991. הוא מייסד ומנכ"ל Our Crowd, הוגדר על ידי הוושינגטון פוסט אחד מיזמי ההייטק המובילים של ישראל, ותואר בניו יורק טיימס כאחד מה10 האמריקנים שהשפיעו על ישראל באופן המשמעותי ביותר. מדווד השקיע ביותר מ100 חברות סטארט-אפ ישראליות וסייע ל12 מהן לזכות בהערכות שווי של $100 מיליון. אני מתכבד בזאת להגיש לג'ון מדווד את פרס בוני ציון בתחום היזמות העסקית והטכנולוגיה. ג'ון, אנא, בבקשה, מזל טוב. ושוב, מזל טוב ג'ון.
This is the first time I've ever spoke at the Knesset. And I figured that I had to open with something about this week's Parsha, not just because it's appropriate, I think, but because the material this week is so obviously connected. In Parshat Behukotai, we have the bracha and the klala. And we're also, when you relate that to that second Betochacha later in Parshat Devarim, you have this notion of how the Jews are supposed to come back to Israel. And it's not through some kind of simply physical process, but it says, Ki yavo alecha kol hadvarim ha'ele habracha v'kala asher natati lefanecha v'hashevota el levavecha mikol hagoyim. That somehow this process of coming back is actually a form of repentance. It's a form of spiritual return. It's not physical. It's not just that we're defending ourselves against our enemies. There is a spiritual, moral, higher level here. But on top of that, there's another very interesting part of this parsha, which talks about the fact that when we are back, we will be chasing people. And there's this phrase about how we will chase them, and we will chase them with greater acuity as we get numbers. In other words, there's this weird arithmetic when you say that we can chase, 5 100, but a male will chase a revava. Okay, and the arithmetic doesn't work. It's not linear. And that's an interesting question. And then third, at the end of this process, it says that when we come back, it will be l'shem u'letifara u'letiferet. That somehow this will all be not just a physical return, but something which will create a name for this country. And I wanted to connect it to this prize, because when you look at what this Aliyah represents, and the appropriate word about this Aliyah is anachnu bemet ala mapa. Okay, when you look at what this group of Dovrei Anglit has done with last year's group, with the groups to come, you see that this is not a normal Aliyah. This is not an Aliyah of fleeing or running away from persecution. We all had great lives in the States. We came here because we were attracted to Israel. This was an Aliyah of chibah. This was an Aliyah of taking it into our hearts. But it's not just the attraction and the quality of the Aliyah. It's the notion that we came to contribute. We just didn't come to improve our lives, which we did. Our quality of lives went up. But we came to play a part. And this is exactly what Nefesh B'Nefesh is doing with Aliyah today. If you look at that beautiful video we saw, they're making Aliyah cool. Okay, Aliyah is no longer a boring, bad bureaucrat. It's cool. It's positively a positive brand. And this is about time. Okay, we're speaking to an audience and not saying, run because the Nazis are chasing you. Although some parts of the world they still are. Okay, or worse yet. But the reality is that we're talking about Aliyah from the heart, Aliyah of attraction and Aliyah of contribution. Now, about that part about the numbers, we know that, again, in this Torah portion, it says that somehow if you get critical mass, the arithmetic is going to be logarithmic. It's not going to be linear. And in fact, that's what Nefesh B'Nefesh has proven. 43,000 olim through Nefesh B'Nefesh since 2002. Excuse me, that is great. Congratulations, Josh and Tony. 43,000. But it's not just that. It's the 5,000 lone soldiers. You look at this incredible young man, Dr. Golani, and you realize that he's not alone. It turns out that this is a phenomena. This is a wave now. There are thousands each year of lone soldiers from all over the world serving in Tzahal. General Gallant knows how important they are. We lost 2 in the last war, and I think it's appropriate at this juncture to remember Sean Carmelli and Max Steinberg, who both paid the ultimate sacrifice, who were lone soldiers and olim from the United States. So you look at this and you begin to realize that there are numbers. We are reaching critical mass. When they talk about the hundreds of applicants or nominations for this award, there are thousands of us who are doing incredible work, who won't get this recognition, who deserve it. The people like Charlie Levine, the people like our ambassadors to the US and to England today, American and English products. The people who are in sport, not just like Tal Broidy, but people like Steve Leibowitz, who are building football in this country, among other things. Or this kid, Eli Khan, who back in the last Lebanese war fielded a hand grenade and threw it back, okay, and won a salash. You look at across the board, and you see us as sarim, okay? How many of us are there? Well, now there are 42,000, but there are going to be a lot more. And as we grow in numbers, our force multiplier is going to be critical. And that really, again, congratulations to Nefesh B'Nefesh for doing those kinds of numbers and for essentially making us aware of it. But finally, it's about this Shem and Tehillah and Tiferet. And if you look at what we're doing as a group, the various awardees and all of us together, the collective, we are bringing a Shem and Tehillah and Tiferet to Medinat Yisrael. And that is so necessary today. In a world where they criticize us and they dare to boycott us and they talk about the horrible things, we know the reality. And there is no one better to bring that message out to the rest of the world than us who speak English as a native language, who have come here to contribute and to share this. So when people talk about Israel, we need to talk about the fact that we're the most voluntaristic society in the world. We have the highest percentage of volunteer giving and time. You have examples of it here. We're also one of the healthiest societies in the world. Our life expectancy, many of us who came from America, we added 4 years to our lives. That's called, a bottom line. The life expectancy in Israel is 4 years longer than the US. Okay? You look at how we are doing in the technology and just helping the world element, whether it's we have here Yossi from last year who won the award in Yazamut. His company is producing 8% of the electricity in Rwanda. Israel is now producing 8% of their electricity all from solar. But we have companies who are letting the infirm walk, like Rewalk, or companies that are letting the blind see, like Orcam here in Jerusalem, or Mobileye, which are saving countless lives. And this is the Shem and the Tiferet and the Tehillah. And again, no one does this better than Nefesh B'Nefesh. You guys not only organize it, and you look at how this event was just run like clockwork, but you tell the story. And we have to go out as a group and continue telling this story so that there'll be next year another 6, but not just another 6, but another 42,000 and 420,000, because there are millions still who are yet to come, and this story is not over. The best part of this whole ceremony for me was the slideshow, which showed the interplay between the Ma'apilim and today's Olim, because this is the story. The story hasn't even got started yet. We have a long way to go. Congratulations to the awardees. Congratulations to Nefesh B'Nefesh.